Welcome, everybody, to the live edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. I'm Ross Benjamin. Today, as always on Fridays, I shouldn't say as always because Jesse was out last week. Jesse's back, Mr. Jesse Schule, Mr. Sean Higgs, all three of us of our sponsor site, gamblersworld.net, where folks, you can go there right now and buy any of our single game, multi-game daily packages, as well as subscription plans of 30 days or less. And we will guarantee that if you don't win, you don't make a profit, we will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. And right now, with all three of us, it's been pretty much a moot point in terms of that guarantee, but it's a peace of mind for you, the consumer out there. Anyway, Jesse, how are you, man?
Doing pretty well, Ross. It's been a few days in a row. Nice winning streak going on. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not able to change my underwear because it might break the streak. Oh, not that streak, the other streak.
Yeah, I hear you. Sean, have you changed your underwear lately, I hope?
I'm on a good streak, but I don't wear underwear, so I don't have to worry about it. I go commando. So
there you go. So yeah, we were talking off air, and our owner, Jim Quinn, our beloved owner, that is, and my good friend, by the way, and my man, Seth, I don't mention Seth a lot on the show, but he does a fantastic job with our graphics and helping out with the production. And without those two guys, our channel wouldn't be as successful as it is. That make two ways about it. We exceeded 13,000 subscribers yesterday, and that's certainly an accomplishment for us, as being as it may that we're only around 3 years old. So nice accomplishment. And again, I like to thank my guys here, Jesse and Sean, also the other participants on the show, Doug Upstone and Chip Chirimbus, and all the other ones who have participated, Paul Bovey during football season. And you guys, without you guys and your personalities, it would be hard for us to do what we're doing right now. And I thank you as well. All right, now that I'm done with the love fest, Jesse, tell the folks, I know you've been red hot. I mean, since the calendar year, especially when it turned to 2024, it's been no hostages being taken by you.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost embarrassing to talk about some of these streaks. In fact, Sean's going to have to put cotton in his ears because I know he just wants to puke when he hears some of this stuff. But a 10-1 MLB run got tested yesterday, won another one. So that goes to 11-1. But if you just look at MLB totals, that's 11-0 with MLB totals. I did post that on Twitter, as well as my 13-1 top NBA play streak is also posted on Twitter. Like I said, it's almost embarrassing when you come out with streaks like that. And in events when it sounds unbelievable, I like to post it on Twitter with the graphics showing the dates and the times and the games and the analysis. And anybody who wants to question it can hit me up on Twitter, and I will give them the information and the proof that they need to rest easy. Those are real streaks. But things have been going well.
That's a difference between being a pro and being somebody who just comments on our videos and says, I've hit 67% over the last 6 months. How do we know that? Okay. All three of us, when we make picks, they're all documented, not only by one site, but several sites, and all credible ones. Okay. And all independent from where we don't have any vested interest in. Gamblersworld.net being one of them. And then I don't want to mention the others because they're competitors of gamblersworld.net. And that would be unprofessional of me. But in any event, Sean, I know that you're a little bit shy about telling people how well you've done of late, but you have done very well of late. So share that with the folks here.
Yeah. Listen, what's just say? Nice, good day yesterday. 4-1, 5-1, whatever the day was. Super baseball for the week. Winning season. Although I'm not on the MLB leaderboards, I have about 100 times the amount of games as some of the guys already. Probably about 20 times the amount. But again, I'm doing all right baseball. NBA 61% on the season, 2-0 the other night. Hockey, not too bad. I think I'm number 3 in the money on the site there. I believe, again, a 500 record, but I take plus money. So, people I think get discouraged when they see 500 records. They don't realize you could win with 500 records if you're taking plus kind of stuff in baseball and hockey and sports like this. But I don't get too swept up. You know that. I just I feel like you're on runs. I don't need the jinx to come down on me, because I know as much as I'm on a 17-7 run, I could turn into 9 and 15 runs. It's the same thing. So again, it's one day at a time. We you know how we go, guys. We're long term stuff. You see the records. We're always kind of in and out. We have our runs. It's never too bad, and it's never nonstop winner. So we're always making it.
We have a hell of a
here. Yeah.
I could put it into words for you. We have a hell of a lot better winning runs, a lot more winning runs, I should say, than losing runs throughout the course of the year. And that's what makes you money over the long haul. There's nobody that hits 60% every day kind of thing. Exactly. There's nobody who wins every day. And anybody who tries to convince you otherwise and gives you an absurd winning percentage that they've had over the last 5 years, you should ignore them right away. Let them show you a documented record like Jesse just alluded to and I alluded to. I have no problem telling you how well I'm doing. I could tell you that. I'm not embarrassed to tell you. I know that a lot of you out there can't wait to jump all over me when I'm on a bad streak. But when I'm on a winning streak or a hot streak like I am right now, I get accused of being arrogant. So here's my arrogant streaks. I'm 89-52 in the NBA postseason since 2022. That's all documented, folks. Number 1 at a couple sites in that regard. And if anybody's doing better than me in the NBA postseason over the last 3 years, I tip my hat to them, and I know I could probably count them on one hand. Okay. So there you have number 1. Number 2, the NBA playoffs are doing great. We're 12-4 this year, as well as that 89-52. But my NBA going back to March 19th is right now 21-8. I'm on that kind of run. So I don't know what the win percentage of that. Jesse's good at figuring that out. It's pretty good. And then also, all basketball picks since March 19th. That includes college basketball, NBA combined, 45-21. Again, when it lasts that long and it's that good, it's not a fluke. So call me arrogant if you will. Jump all over me when I have a bad streak. That's fine too. It comes with the territory. But you know what, folks? We're in business. It's business 101. If you don't promote when you're doing well, then you shouldn't be in business. Bottom line, In any event, and as you have heard from each one of us, when we lose, we're very transparent. We've all admitted when we're on a bad streak. So there you have it. All right, let's get to our free picks so we can get to all the viewers and their questions and comments. And one final note here before we get to that. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. Obviously, you're watching these videos, and most of you never buy from us, so you love free stuff. So it's free to subscribe, all right? Can't make it any easier than that. And once you do subscribe, and for those of you who have subscribed out there, we appreciate each and every one of you. Without you, I mentioned all the accolades to the people involved in this channel and this show and how making it a success. But at the end of the day, without you guys, the show is nothing. So we appreciate you. And if you have subscribed or you're new to subscribe, just go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, and you'll be notified immediately upon any of our 5 podcasts going up on a weekly basis. So there you have it, folks. And don't forget, Jesse will remind you later, but give us a like. It goes a long way in just being a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort we put in to bringing you a quality podcast and making you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. And, it's like going to the bar, folks. You have a good bartender that never makes you wait for a drink. You tip them, right? Well, our tip is just hit the like button and it doesn't cost you anything. How's that? Jesse. All right, the T-Wolves and the Suns. The T-Wolves have dominated the first 2 games of the series. The Suns have scored 95 points or fewer on each occasion. They go back to Phoenix, and right now the line is Phoenix minus 4.5. Even there's a 5 out there as well, and the total is 208. I know we talked off air, looking into betting Phoenix in the first half is no bargain because it's almost the same line as what the line is for the game itself. So what do you got for us on this matchup, Jess?
Yeah, Ross, it's well documented that teams down 0-2 tend to get off to a great start and are a good bet in the first half of Game 3. We saw that yesterday with the Lakers and the Orlando Magic. The Sixers down 0-2 actually won the game. They didn't get off to a great start, but they're kind of up against it with some issues that they've got. I don't know what the exact numbers are with the trend with teams down 0-2 in the first half of Game 3, and it's not important for me to know because, as I've said many times on this show, I don't blindly follow any trend. I'm aware of the trend, and that all that does is it prompts me to dig it a little bit deeper and look into more things. And if everything starts coming up aces, that will warrant a bet. But one trend, one angle is not going to warrant a bet on my end. But yeah, I mean, the Phoenix Suns have a long history of doing quite well against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I said that before this series started, I thought that was a bit of a red herring. I do think Minnesota is the better team. I do think Minnesota is going to win the series. I wouldn't even be surprised if Minnesota wins this game. But series shifts to Phoenix, home team, down 0-2. They get off to a good start. I'm priced out of the first half, and that's forcing me to look at the first quarter instead. I'm going to go Phoenix Suns, first quarter -2. It's just it's a go-to play for me. Teams down 0-2 tend to get off to good starts, and there's nothing telling me that won't be the case here.
Yeah, teams off to 0-2 starts in playoff series, and they're playing at home in Game 3. The emotion, the desperation, and the urgency takes over. We saw that with the Orlando Magic yesterday as they looked listless in the first 2 games of the series and played a magnificent game yesterday, winning by 38 and being up by double digits, I believe, at the end of the first quarter and at halftime. So, Sean, your take here.
Yeah, well, I was on the Magic yesterday. I thought that was a good spot because as bad as they look, you're never as bad as you look in one game. It's like NFL football. Team gets crushed on a Sunday night, Monday night, or Sunday. People want to run away from them, and lo and behold, they come in and win the next week. Same thing here. Teams off bad games. And like I said, I do got some numbers, not counting yesterday's game, because it's like you're down 0-2, the sky's falling, got to bet these teams. Going back to 2021, first quarter, which I had the Lakers yesterday first quarter because I was like, maybe they choke a little bit here. But I do like Jesse's look at the first quarter here for Suns. 8-13 ATS, 10-11 ATS for the first half. Teams down 0-2. That was coming into this past yesterday's game. So, not as you could sit there and blindly say, well, they have to win or cover. It's under 500.
Yeah, if you go, and I don't mean to cut you off, Sean. But if you go beyond that, those numbers it favors the team down 0-2 at home. Having said that, you're right. It's leveled off, and that's why you got to pick your spots. Anyway, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I was just throwing those out there because it's never a guarantee. You got to find spots, and thank goodness we can do first quarter betting now in spots like this because I actually think Minnesota probably wins or keeps it close here. So I'm going to say first quarter with Jesse. I like it. I like Minnesota to hang tough, but I also like the Suns team total over 105.5. Being held to under 100 points, they're home. The shots that kind of rim out on the road tend to go in at home. The role players kind of step up a little bit. We saw that in the Sixer game. Other guys kind of score. So I'm going to for me, my favorite of that, as much as I like the first quarter, I think the team total 105.5 is a good play as well.
Okay, team total 105.5 on, I'm sorry, Phoenix?
The Suns, yeah.
Over 105.5?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's a risky play, but it's, you know what? Things, just because you saw what they did in the first 2 games doesn't necessarily mean when they return home, they're not going to turn it around. Why I say that is because Phoenix scored 95 or less in both games. They shot terribly, and even more so, their field goal attempts. I mean, 78 in one game, 76 in the other. That's extremely low. And they're not going to win a game in this series continuing at that pace. So if you're a firm believer that the Suns are going to bounce back here, and the odds makers indicate that's likely to be the scenario here, since they made them a 5-point favorite here, you would think that if they have to do that, they're going to exceed that total of 105.5. But our official pick is Mr. Schule. He likes the Phoenix Suns minus the 2 in the first quarter over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And for those of you out there that just can't wait to get a result, and you can get it in a half an hour, that's the route to go. But it's also smart at this time of year, because, Sean and Jesse too, the bottom line is when the schedule gets condensed like this, where there's only 2 or 3 games on the board at this time of year because it's playoff time, it frees up some time for us to look at other options besides just the money line, just the total, just the point spread. And in doing so, we can uncover value that ordinarily we might miss because of time constraints. Agree or no, Jesse?
Yeah, and I'll point out one more thing. In the player prop market, what I've been noticing recently is you've got they shorten up the bench, so guys are playing 5 or 6 or 7 minutes more than they were in the regular season. And I'm finding that the player prop market is based on the regular season averages. Oh, this guy averages X amount in the regular season. I mean, to be fair, that didn't work out very good on Wednesday's show. To be honest, I went 0-2 with my player props. But I think that's something to keep an eye on. If you see guys that are logging a lot more minutes and their player props appear to be based on their season averages, that's a good opportunity to take advantage of.
So if I read you correctly on this, most of those player props based on that theory are going to be overplays on the amount of points they scored, or rebounds, assists, etc. Because
I think the best bets would be on not the superstar guys, the leading. Right. I'm looking at your third and fourth best options. Guys that are starters. So when they shorten the bench, these guys are going to play 38, 40 minutes a game instead of 25 and 30.
Because the superstars are going to play big minutes. Their minutes played isn't going to vary much.
And their totals are going to be jacked as well. So there's not going to be any value on overs for those guys. But one guy in particular, Aaron Gordon, is a guy that he's logging 5.5 more minutes per game, and he's producing. He's a guy that I have my eye on.
And a lot has to do with matchups too. Like in the series yesterday, Valanciunas from New Orleans. I mean, or the other day, Valanciunas of New Orleans is going to get more minutes in this series against Oklahoma City because, as you alluded to, Jesse, Oklahoma City isn't big up front, and they feel like they have a mismatch there. And we're seeing where he's exceeded his numbers in the regular season in terms of points, rebounds, and minutes played. So those are the other things to consider, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, Valanciunas, because the game 2 was a blowout, Valanciunas didn't log as many minutes and didn't get as involved as I would have liked him to. But I'll keep that in mind for game 3, and I'll have another look at it, though.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that was the only deterrent there, though. I mean, you can't really predict a blowout and players to be pulled out of the game early. You just have to base your prop bets on it's going to be a competitive game, and teams are going to play their top 7 or 8 guys regularly. So anyway, Sean, any thoughts in that regards in terms of this time of year and us being able to look at more options to uncover value that ordinarily we might miss?
Well, one, obviously, a lot more value because I'm actually going to be looking at every NBA game as opposed to regular season where it's who's playing today. Here, guys are playing. What number 2? There's less games, right? And you could focus on a first quarter or as I said, the player prop. And, he wants to look at a guy whose minutes are going from 28 to 34. How about the guy who's going from 17 down to 9? And there he's still listed as, that's where I think you make money on. And I'm not a huge basketball player prop.
It's a real good point.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things like in football, I see guys who I like their or respect their opinions always on unders for player props in games, playoff times, because everything gets shorter. Your best guys are out there. Guys don't get on the field as many reps, this and that. So I think the key is probably going unders with a lot of the bench guys as opposed to overs. Like I'm not going to look for, and that's just I'm always going to look for an under anyway because everybody's going to run to an over.
No,
so
it's a good point. It's a real.
I think again, I don't look at them, but Jesse brought it up. So yeah, why not? Why not look at some today, regardless of the team? Even though Pacers are a high flying team, but maybe it's just their starters. Maybe it's their first 6 or 7 guys and not 9 guys down the bench putting all the work in. So yeah, it's out there. You just gotta dig for it. Whether we do it ourselves or you're doing it on your own, we're gonna miss something. We can't get it all. I mean, if that's the case, we wouldn't be here. We'd just be sitting in our gold thrones.
I know one thing I'm not going under on is the way all 3 of us are going right now. I wouldn't bet the under on how many wins we're going to have this week. Anyway, let's get to Sean on his game, and that's the Bucks and the Pacers. And boy, oh boy, Pacers, talk about a bounce back. Really made us look good, as me and Jesse both had the over 110.5 on our team total. I also had the Pacers in the game. I also had the Pacers over the total in the game. And again, the Pacers at -6 and 223. Obviously, it tells us Giannis is not going to be playing tonight, or they don't figure he's going to be playing tonight. I don't know if he's been ruled out yet, but yesterday he was questionable and highly improbable to go. So I'm going to assume that based on this line. But like I said, Sean, 6 and 223.5. Guys, I am really impressed with the Indiana Pacers and how take away the game 1 performance, which was an aberration. I truly believe if you watch this team play down the stretch, yes, they have their defensive liabilities, and ultimately that probably will cost them a deep run in the playoffs. But Sean, this team shares the ball like no other team I've seen going down the stretch in the NBA right now, and they're extremely athletic. Anyway, what's your take on this game?
Yeah, well, you mentioned this line. I mean, this was a 4. It's up to a 6, 6.5. It's like the Suns line was 3.5 to a 5. I expect. We said this last week. I like the Pacers before the Giannis news. It was a team I want to fade in Milwaukee between the coaching staff doing a bad job for the whole season or their half a season, and just I don't think the Bucks. It's a crapshoot. Giannis is out. Dame is Dame. Fine. Middleton's a guy who's there sometimes. For me though, I'm going to go a first quarter over. Now it's 56 first quarter. It seems high because, wow, are the Bucks going to score? And this is, I think the Bucks do come out and score. I think this is where Dame, as much as he was, and they got beat up last game, that game 1, the guy was unconscious. So he knows I'm here. I'm by myself. I got to do my thing. He's going to come out and just shoot the lights out. And obviously I'm betting on him to get 10 or 12 himself and for this total to go over because the Pacers are going to do what they do. I was with you guys on that team total 110.5 after a bad game 1. They're home. They're going to score. When's the last time they had a home? When's the last time they were in the playoffs? Like when people are excited about their team, even though they're the low seed, the city's excited. The team's excited. They're the favorite, no matter what the records say. I think they're going to come out here at home. I think they're going to drop a 40 themselves. I think they're going to come out and play their ball. 40 spot. I think this 56 is going to sail over the total here. I'm thinking like a 70 spot here in the first quarter. My lone concern is like most times when you have your devil's advocate side of it, is it going to be 36-16 because the Bucks just look clueless without their leader on the floor? But
I don't think so, Sean, because again, the liability for the flaw for Indiana is their defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like that. Again, 56 seems like it should be and I hate saying easy or should get there, but I do. I think this game's going to be like a 41-33 kind of first quarter, just high scoring affair. The totals come down a little bit. It is postseason, but we saw last game what they can do. They're gonna. And it's come down. It's 226 down to 2. What do they do? Well,
yeah,
over, baby, over. Let's go.
The impressive part about Indiana is not necessarily they get it done with a high percentage of making threes or a high percentage of 3-point attempts. They do it by speeding the tempo up, Jesse, and they're very good at getting the opposition to play their style. And the Bucks aren't going to shy away from that. I mean, the Bucks have been built to play at any style you want to play at. Now, it's a little bit different with Giannis out of the lineup. And then Middleton, I guess he rolled his ankle in the first quarter the other night, and he didn't practice yesterday. So we'll see what happens with him. But, Jesse, what's your take here?
Exactly what I said on the show on Tuesday, I believe it was, when we gave out the team total over. Like Sean says, first quarter over, first half over, full game over, Pacers team total over, all good in my books. At the end of the day, Pacers led the NBA in scoring, 123 points per game, with a huge gap between them and the number 2 team. They were way out in front, second in the NBA in pace of play. Home team should dictate pace of play. Favorite by 6 points, the favorite should dictate pace of play. Defensive deficiencies, they're going to allow the opponent to score some. Their style of play, I mean, they're just going to keep on going, keep on pouring it on. They're not going to slow it down and try and play defense. That's just not in their best interests. And you look at the way that the line movement, 231.5 was the number for game 1. They go way under. The books come back with a 220.5 because all these games have been going under, and we've seen low scores in the playoffs. But all these low scores, completely different. These aren't teams like the Pacers that are going to run no matter what. And with the Bucks banged up, I don't like their chances of stopping them. So yeah, I do like all totals over, including the Pacers team total.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers, no matter where they're playing, home or away, they seem to excel at speeding the pace up and getting the other team to play at that speed. But you're right, Jesse, especially playing at home, that should definitely not come into play where a team is able to slow them down. So we'll see. But any event, I like it too. I think you're right, Sean, on this one. Indiana, Milwaukee over the total of 56 in the first half. And then Jesse, he likes the Phoenix Suns -2 in the first quarter against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let me get to my game, and then we'll get into the rest of your questions and comments. Don't be shy, folks. Chime in with your questions and comments here. We'll get to each and every one of you, time permitting. The Dallas Mavericks they came back nicely after losing game 1 to win game 2 against the Clippers. The bottom line is, though, Dallas has really struggled offensively, even in the first 2 games with Luka in the lineup. I know they can have an excuse in the final regular season games because Luka wasn't playing, but Dallas has gone 5-0 to the under in their last 5 games, and they've scored 97 points or fewer in their last 4. Also, the Dallas Mavericks, over their last 5 games, they shot just 41% from the field and 31% from the 3-point line. The Clippers, too, 4-0 to the under are in their last 4, and they scored 109 points or fewer in each of those contests. The last 4 meetings, I should say, between these teams this season have all gone under the total. And the field goal attempts, you look at that, and I think too many people overlook when you look at, we talk about pace of play, and I get all that, but you know what? At the end of the day, field goal attempts line up perfectly with pace of play. And in the first 2 games, 163 and 167 field goal attempts combined. By NBA standards, that's a below average pace. And I don't see that discontinuing here in this contest tonight. If not for Dallas getting to the free throw line 60 times in the first 2 games, their point total production would have been even worse than that. And so I'm going to go under the total here. I'm going to take the Dallas Mavericks and the LA Clippers game 3 tonight, which goes at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going under the total of 213.5. Jesse?
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other on the total in this game, but I know the Mavs aren't down 0-2, but the series is shifting to Dallas. Home team, first quarter. It's not that high of a price to pay. Kawhi, is he going to play? Is he going to be banged up? Is the team having trouble making the adjustment with him in and out of the lineup? I like Dallas to get off to a good start. So first quarter, first half would be my looks for the Dallas Mavericks.
Does the lack of point production, Sean, bother you with Dallas going into this matchup? And secondly, you couple that with the Clippers, who have been a very good road team this year. What's your take on this one?
You're muted, Sean.
That's what happens when I'm drinking my soda. I turn the mute on, and then you don't hear me gurgling my my Diet Coke.
What are you, a slurper?
No, but it's if I swallow it's the mic, you're gonna hear like the.
Yeah, I got it.
You know. As I said about the road teams, I think some of those are inflated based on guys sitting at home. That's my thing. So I'm gonna give caveats to all the road record teams, and yeah, bad offense both games for the Mavericks. But again, you're on the road, and the Clippers are a pretty decent defensive squad. You're home here. I think they're going to score. We talked about when we did a little future show. I like these guys to get to the conference finals. I like this team. I mean, you got two really good MVP type guys here in Luke and Kyrie. I think they're going to take care of business at home. I think they're going to cover the number here. This is a team I want to be on first quarter, first half, just to come out and make a statement. You looked really bad. You came back and had a nice second half there, but you want to really start scoring and kind of get a little rhythm going forward here. I mean, series tied 1-1. You don't want to be in some kind of dogfight here on your own court. You know, you're 1-1 now. Let's get the advantage. It's our playoff game, home game, first game here. Come out. I'm going to say Mavericks with the 4.5. I like the Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics will tell you that over the last quarter of the season, the Dallas Mavericks, who are known for their offensive prowess, even though they haven't shown that in this series or down the final stretch of the season, they are the most improved team defensively, in my opinion, in the NBA over the last quarter part of the season. So keep that in mind as well, folks. Defense carries you a long way at postseason time. All right, so I like the Clippers, Dallas under 213.5. That's our official pick from yours truly. Again, Jesse likes the Phoenix Suns as a first quarter bet. He's going to lay the 2 points in the first quarter with the Phoenix Suns. And Sean with the Bucks-Pacers game. Again, Sean, your pick in the Bucks-Pacers game was
first quarter. First quarter over 56.
Over 56. That's correct. So there you have it, folks. We done awfully well with the free picks. I know we were just 1 and 2 yesterday, but we've done awfully well with the free picks this week. So let's keep it going. Okay. All right. Let's get to some of the questions and comments. Ernest Brooks, how are you, Ernest? Always glad to hear from you. I got Pacers -4, Dallas -4.5, Minnesota +4. Pacers. All right. I
like them all.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with any of that. I don't know if I'm going to use any of them. I might be a totals player tonight, but again, it's up in the air still. I'm not one of those guys who releases stuff extremely early. I have been of late, but not today. Jesse, anything?
I do like all three plays, but I'm going to say he's going to go 2-1. He's going to lose one by half a point, just the nature of the business. I hope he's got them individually and not in a parlay.
Yes.
Let's say it that way.
Yeah, and Dallas, Minnesota is the one that bothers me, up 2-0 against Phoenix. I know how good they've looked in the first two games, but they're not as good a road team as they are at home, where they were terrific this year. But again, we'll see what happens. But thank you for chiming in, Ernest. We appreciate you, man. Ninja, my man, the debate finally over. LeBron, how could you call him a GOAT if you get swept by the Nuggets twice in the playoffs?
He's not. We
There
never
is no
call him
GOAT
that
debate.
here.
The goat debate is fake news. It doesn't exist.
Dead. If you got to come out and say, "Oh, you got to respect me," you're not the best. Jordan never said he was the best. People just said he is the best.
He scored 26 and had 9 assists yesterday. Not bad for most guys, but
he's not the best. When did Jordan even go to a Game 7? Jordan was never swept in the playoffs. Never went to a Game 7 in the playoffs.
Was Jordan playing at 38 years old, though? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was playing for the Wizards, I think.
Yeah. All right. Mavs money line. You're going to lay a pretty big number there, my friend.
Yeah, big number.
I appreciate you chiming in. But even I don't even think Jesse would stretch it that far on the money line. So I mean, respect, but you know what I'm saying.
Maybe earlier in the week when they were a much shorter favorite.
Yeah, I just Amazon. I guess subscribed to Amazon Prime and new Vietnamese LeBron to the Joker. I have no idea.
I just primed the Vietnamese.
And he wants you to hit the like button and subscribe. And I appreciate you, Ninja. You're a great man. The sun is settling down so the moon can come out for the Wolves.
Ninja, what?
He's a poet.
He's poetic.
Yeah. All right. Pounded Sports. There's my man. No matter how much you guys win, it doesn't matter. Everyone is a capper these days. I started 40, 15, and 1 in Major League Baseball. People are so hung up on free plays. The influencers have ruined the market for people. That's true, because in this day and age, especially with the legalization of sports betting across the United States now, instead of just being legal in one state, that's certainly, there's been more people who are participating in the sports betting industry, more people who think after they go on a 2-week run where they do very well, they label themselves as a pro. And also the fact that this has been occurring for too long, in my estimation, is too many people are going from one platform to another and trying to get a consensus of free picks and make their decisions based on that. And there's not a hell of a lot we could do about that. All we could do is what we can control, guys, and that is continuing to win on our premium paid selections and let the records and the money speak for itself. Jesse?
One thing I'm going to say is some of these guys that watch our show and interact with us, all the guys in the comments today that I can see, Pound It, Ninja, Ernie Brooks, these guys are listening to what we're saying. I'd imagine they're taking our advice. They're learning things as they hear how we go about our business. They can choose to adopt some of those traits if they want to. At the end of the day, they're going to be better sports bettors because of it. Yeah. But these guys that come in and they want a timestamp to know when the free pick is, get the free pick and leave, and they don't want to hear anything we have to say, they're not going to learn anything, and they're not going to get any better, and they're not going to win, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mentioned this to you guys off air the other day. I did other platform I'm not going to mention. Let's just say they have like over 150,000 subscribers, and I've been getting quite a bit of views. And the videos go 6 to 7 minutes long, and I promote the stuff at the beginning of the video before I get to my free pick. I mean, that's just standard business 101 when it comes to doing free pick videos. Otherwise, nobody's going to listen to you once you give the free pick up. And some guy put a timestamp up. 4 minutes and 16 seconds is where he gets to the free pick. and it got 16 likes. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you could say that you're 25-0 in one of the comments and nobody will like it. But some guy gives you a timestamp on where you could just get right to the pick and you get 16 likes. I equate it to this, guys, and I'm interested to hear your opinion. A lot of people don't want to listen to the analysis. They just want the pick. It's the same thing when they buy from you online. How many people actually buy from us that actually take the time to read the analysis? And if you don't, you're hurting yourself, because at the end of the day, I use this correlation. Your kid comes home to do his homework. He's stuck. He doesn't know how to get to or arrive at some answers on his math homework, for example. you're impatient and just say, okay, the answer here is 16. The answer here is 14. The answer here is 13. He hands it in the next day and he gets a rave review from his teacher in terms of having the correct answers. But at the end of the day, he sits down on his test a week later with the same material and he fails. And then the parent gets mad at him for not passing. Well, it's because, you dummy, you didn't take the time to show them how you arrived at your answers so he could figure out the process himself. Same thing with people, and that's what makes me laugh. You don't want to listen to the analysis. You want to get right to the pick. And at the end of the day, you could learn sometimes just as much on a losing pick as a winning pick because we have a sound analysis and methodology that just didn't work that day, but the majority of times does. And you can use that for your future handicapping. Anyway, Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, you've heard me say it a lot that I approach every game as if I'm like the prosecuting attorney or the district attorney. And I'm not just looking at one angle. I'm building up a mountain of evidence, building a case. And my analysis I would liken to the closing arguments in a trial. And I present my analysis as if I'm presenting a closing argument, and you have the opportunity to listen to that and then judge me based. I'm trying to sell that pick to you. I'm trying to tell you why this is a good bet. And in my opinion, it's in your best interest to listen to me. Do I make sense? Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? And if I don't follow my pick and don't follow anybody's pick. If they can't convince you,
viewing, right? Why are you even viewing the video? Go ahead.
Exactly. And how do you know I'm not just an idiot? How do you know the other guy's not just an idiot? You want to listen to what the guy has to say. Let him convince you. If he can't do that, you shouldn't be following him. And that's what I want. I want the opportunity to convince you that I know what I'm talking about. And that's what other guys should be doing as well. If you're just skipping to the part where I give the free pick, you're missing out on a lot of info.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'll give you an example. A guy commented on one of my videos yesterday as I gave out Orlando in the first half. And he made the comment, these teams have played now 5 times this year. Orlando has been behind at the half 4 times. Why do you like the first half, Ross? Now, that to me is a respectful question. And this guy wants to learn. And I explained to him, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I explained it to him. And that's what, unfortunately, happens way too little. And I wish it would happen more. But Sean, your take?
I do a lot of write-ups for football, baseball, not as much. I just, I come to my numbers just because I don't know. There's no great chemistry going on for me to come up with why I like a game. It's just, all right, this is the way they're playing. This is why I like it. Simple.
But you do an hour show every day explaining.
And I'm going to say that into explaining us. We do shows all the time, right? We've been doing this for years, doing videos, long time. If you don't understand our thinking, I mean, how much more could I put in a 2-paragraph NFL write-up or baseball? Like I did a write-up for one of my baseball packages today why I like this game. Yeah. It's simple. It's brief. I could come in and listen, we work with guys who you open up their thing and it's this long and you're like, what is all this stuff in here? Just, it's like crazy stuff. Like no one's reading all that. They timestamp a thing like this. What's the free play today? I do a video for 45 minutes. The watch time is 9 minutes and 30 seconds because that is when I finish my recap, my rundown, hit a couple questions, and that's it. That's all they want to hear. They want, let's go. Timestamp time. Thank you. I'm going to take my free pick and move on. Yeah. They don't want to learn. I mean, and again, but that's fine. People there's just people want to bet. They just want to bet on everything and anything in front of them. We're going to live bet first basket. It's a race to 15. Who's going to be up at the first quarter? I'm going to do a first half bet. I'm doing a player prop. I mean, I was doing a show yesterday, and I don't know if it was here. Player prop was like, yeah, I'm doing a live bet on a Ribby plus 350 next hit. The next play is RBI for this guy. Like, all right, stop being a little wacko here. That's how people are. They want
it's
up
impulsive
to the second stuff.
It's impulsive and it's degenerative. For the most part, there's always exceptions to the rule, but that's a guy who can't wait more than 5 minutes for a result. That's one thing I frown upon during the regular season a lot of times, especially in the NBA, when you don't know who's going to play and you make a case for first half and first quarter bets during the regular season. And to me, most of that is done by people who just, and I'm not specifying us in that category, but most people who do that on their own just don't have the patience to wait any longer than an hour for a result.
If there was a way to see, like, if people read them and appreciated your write-ups, it's like trying to get a like on a video.
Yeah.
Like if I'd say, all right, I like the KC Detroit underrated because it's an early game. It's a pitcher's park. I got two guys pitching pretty good and lineups that aren't really hitting the ball. Like if someone say, thanks for you wouldn't even know if they read it, right? People click on, how do you know they even read this thing? Because from my understanding is they just take it and go, right? Just no, yes,
well,
no. I mean,
the same thing as when everybody wanted you to put a free pick up on their site. It's like, yeah, you're putting a free pick and we need an analysis. They're not reading the analysis, most of them, There's very few to do and really take away something from it. So that's why videos are great, because I think as opposed to just doing free picks in the text version, now you're actually seeing who Sean Higgs is and who I almost call you Craig Trapp and who Jesse Schule is.
That's the first time in about 3 months he's done that. It's
no,
been quite a while, but
I did it yesterday when I was promoting today's show. Anyway,
but you're right. Like you do a video and people ask me, and I think I'm like, all right, let me think about something, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Don't have every game covered in for myself and for every NBA or hockey, like. So when somebody asks something, you're going to be like, let me think about it, and they're going to get an honest look from a person and how they think about a game, or how their thought on betting something, or just anything in general. You could see how the person reacts, and I think it's better to do videos. People kind of be like, I like how this guy thinks. I can see how
they're seeing the actual individual isn't just a name and text. It's
a
real person, and you're seeing their body language, and you're listening to what they have to say, as opposed to I'm not a big reader. So I'm not one of those guys that sits down because I'm bored and reads a novel. You know what I mean? A lot of people get turned off by that, or don't have any interest in that. And if you could articulate, that's another reason, Jesse, I mentioned to the gentleman who claimed, and he was being respectful when he was saying you're being a little bit arrogant. And he came across as he made his reasoning why. But then
to be fair, Ross, I think he had a point. I think that I know what you were saying, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think the way that I could see how somebody like him could interpret it a different way, and it was clear that he interpreted it that way, right?
Yeah. Well, and I apologized if that's how it came across. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we are pros. We do this for a living, and look, anybody can make a pick, including some of the handicappers in this industry. How many guys could get on camera and make an intelligent case on why they like a game, okay, and articulate it well to the audience? And that was my point. That's the difference between being a pro and somebody who just picks games on a daily basis.
My wife is shocked that I do videos every day. She's like, how do they understand you? She says I speak Shawneese. Like, yeah. She's like, what? She's like, I don't even understand what you're talking to me about what we're doing for dinner today.
My wife is the same way. She goes, I listen to you talk, and I'm proud of you for the way you present yourself, but I have no clue what you're talking about, Ross. So again, it's a whole different lingo when we're talking about sports betting, right? All right, let's get to more comments here. TP, realize who's who.
That was the finish of with the influencers. People, like, you got people just doing shows. So who's a real bettor? Who's a person just doing stuff as a content creator and nonsense like that? And Pounded's a guy. Listen, I've been friends with him for about 2 years now, 3 years. Like, I get his plays daily. He started baseball. I think he was like 17-0 out of the gate, like ridiculous.
Well, he just said he was 41-15.
But that's anybody can say what they want. I know this for a fact because I get his plays every day sent to me on the phone. Yeah. So I mean, he's a real person.
That's different. You know what I mean?
I see people every day. Like the Ninja comes in, he mentions plays and player prop. We have a lot of people come in all of our chats, the three of us.
Yeah.
And you kind of respect their opinion because they put it in every day, win or lose. I had a bad day yesterday. I had a good day yesterday. I like this today.
Here's my point.
But I'm going back to what Jesse said. Yeah, we're the quote unquote pro guys who are on TV or whatever, the YouTube or whatever. But like your point is well taken. Like, okay, put your thing in here, but please do it ahead of time. Not after the fact of saying we're garbage.
Here's my point. My point was this, guys. Okay, whether you think it's right or wrong, my convictions are this. I think too many people in the old days and what they've been used to leading up to this video era and this podcast era that we've seen grow immensely over the last couple of years in the sports betting industry. We're used to going into these public forums, sports betting forums, and everybody would say who they liked. And one guy would win a couple in a row and he'd get some accolades, and the next guy would win a couple in a row. Well, this isn't a sports betting forum. This is what we do for a living, okay? And when I said the other day, and I don't care if people get mad or not. I don't care if you don't like the pick we give you and say, I disagree, and this is why, and I don't like your logic. Explain to me why you feel this way. That's okay. But when you come in and go, I like Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Boston, thank me when I'm done.
Also, when you do it that way, Ross, that's not really participating in the show. That's trolling, right? Because you can tell what they're trying to do is if all three plays win, then they're like, oh yeah, they'll come back to the next day. They'll do it again, and they'll try to like piggyback off your show.
I've really laid into people for doing that. And the bottom line is
that though, Ross, if they're coming with the old "thank me later," or are they saying like, I like this, this, and this? And they want you to say, all right, I kind of like this game. Like, are they waiting for you to respond to it? Like, all right, I kind of like you know what I'm saying? It's not like the old
Sean,
SDR and covers days where
let me clarify it even further. I usually give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but when I started to see it become habitual, where they actually think that people are tuning in to look at the comment section to see who they like, they need to be put in their place. Sorry.
Well, if they're looking for an audience, they're up to no good. They're trolling, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for an audience, you start your own channel.
Or you're trying to pick. Look at we know a guy that was unsuccessful as a sports betting host. Okay, that wanted to come on a channel and jump in on a show that automatically had 13,000 or whatever subscribers we had. It's the same thing with some of these trolls. They can't make it on their own. If they started their own video channel, it would struggle. They would struggle. So they try to piggyback off somebody else's audience. And I'm very, very protective when it comes to that. That's business 101, guys. You don't go into somebody's restaurant and give out samples of your food from the restaurant down the street. You know what I mean? And you're having no success. There's 4 people sitting in your restaurant, and these people got a waiting line for a half an hour. That's my correlation. All right,
but I don't think they're. I think they come in. They want your opinion on the game because I get that after the fact. I think they want an opinion.
Buddy, I'm usually pretty good at discerning what people are in that category as opposed to the other. But
if you give out one pick and you say I like the Lakers, I think you're right, Sean. But if you just give out 3 picks with the thank me later and you keep doing that every day, I think that's a clear sign that you're trolling.
Listen, the thank me later is a whole different story
because they see you have the Pelicans game with the Pelicans and Thunder game up for sale tonight, and they try to coax you into showing your hand with a question like that. Look, every situation I treat as an isolated situation. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm right all the time, guys.
Listen, I'll tell you 100%.
Put everybody in the same box is what I'm saying.
100% guaranteed mortal human Vegas Dave lock of the century whale play. Yeah. No one is following that person for whoever put the chat, because if that was the case, me and Jesse and Doug, anybody who has a channel, we'd have every viewer that watches this channel. They don't do that. That is not what they do. They're not going to run and follow every channel.
All right, so Ninja's got another team he could pick on, and it's the Phoenix Suns. So there you go.
I agree with Ninja, but I still like the Suns for the first quarter. Like the Lakers yesterday. We liked the Lakers early. We didn't necessarily like them for the game.
I just think that the Sun, again, Sean, I mentioned this before. I think the Suns sold out. with not only acquiring these three players or keeping a guy like Devin Booker with big contract and then acquiring Kevin Durant and then extending him to another long contract and then bringing in Bradley Beal, that they spent so much on these three players, they more or less depleted the quality of their depth. And I think that's the problem more so than those big three, because when Phoenix was going good a couple of years ago, their bench was really good. A couple of those guys, I believe, one guy I know is playing with Brooklyn right now, and he produced real well. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's a lefty. And then you had DeAndre Ayton or whatever his last name is before I get crucified on pronunciations. Taking that guy away from your defense where he affected a lot of shots down low and helped your rebounding out. I mean, those are the types of things that people lose sight of. Yeah, you could have star power, but what about your supporting cast? Look at the Denver Nuggets, okay, last year. I mean, yeah, Joker's the MVP, but their supporting cast is pretty damn good and 7-8 deep, right, guys?
You need a bench.
Yeah.
See the Lakers bench last night? See who the Lakers got coming off their bench? Suns are just as bad. Terrible.
Yeah, okay. All right, easy winner last night with the Magic. Thanks, Ross.
Hey, Aaron.
No problem, Aaron. I appreciate you, man. Ninja 13. What about the Pacers team total 115 and a half? Well, it got stretched a little bit from the 110 and a half in the last game, but they are playing at home. You are talking about a team that's averaging, like Jesse said, 123 points per game.
They should get this, Ninja.
Yeah.
I got them 114 and a half. I like the over either way. Go for it.
Yeah. Jesse?
I already commented. I said yes, Ninja. Like you said, they're at home. Not only are they at home though, with the two injuries for Milwaukee, everything's they're six. They were a 1-point dog last time. Now they're a 6-point favorite. So that makes up your difference in the team total number, right?
Yeah. Very, very true. My brother is a big Packers fan. He is pumped about this young and talented team. Okay, we're getting a little bit.
He meant Pacers. He meant Pacers.
Okay, I was going to say we're getting a little bit. Aaron, you know what? Your brother's got a good case. I don't know if there's a more entertaining team to watch in the NBA than Indiana. Not the fact that they score a lot and they average a lot of points, but the pace in which they play. And then, like Jesse said, they're almost like one of those boxers that are good knockout punchers. They're willing to take 2 or 3 of your best blows so that they can land that one big one. So, yeah, I agree with your brother, Aaron. I really like this Pacers team from an entertainment standpoint. But, again, I have to handicap games on a daily basis, and sometimes I'm going to have to fade Indiana, depending on the line or the value. You guys still like the Celtics to win the East? I just look.
One game doesn't break them. I mean, bad performance. Sure, you're telling me that the Miami Heat had to hit 33 pointers in that game?
No, they hit 23. Might as well have been 30. Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I mean that's an absurd amount of threes to make, and they haven't shown the ability to do that all year. As a matter of fact, I think that was their best performance in the playoffs ever in terms of making 3-pointers. And again, you're not going to hold Boston in the low 90s or low. What did they score? 101. I'm sorry.
101. Couldn't even get to the team total for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Celtics plus Tatum equal choke, Heat, and 7. All right.
Ninja should do stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Ninja is the ultimate pessimist. I took the Sixers plus 305 series win before game 3. I took it again at plus 195. I said pre-series it would go game 7. What do you guys think?
I think it's a 6 or 7 game series. You think the Knicks win, Jess? Or you just sold on Embiid lasting?
Well, Embiid with the banged up knee, he's revealed a Bell's palsy diagnosis, says it causes headaches. Says he can't concentrate for long periods of time. I mean, the guy's got all sorts of issues. I know he just scored 50 points, but he's one little misstep away. And not only that, he probably should have got kicked out of the game twice last night for flagrant fouls. And if it was anybody else, if it was a role player, he'd be suspended for the next game.
The one where he was on the floor, and
he's pulling his leg.
He's pulling his leg. That was I got to believe that if that was anybody else,
Draymond Green would have been suspended.
Or the game wasn't the magnitude of which it was, which is in the playoffs. You have to toss him for that.
Well, they'll be on the lookout for next game. He's got to be able to do that kind of crap on Sunday.
Yeah,
he's not going to make a 7. He's not going to make a game 7. Embiid's going to be gone he's either going to be gone or a shell of himself by the time this series gets to game 7.
I said after the game 2 loss with the way they collapsed. I thought this would be a 6 or 7 game series. Someone would win. Again, it's all based on Embiid playing. What are the Sixers should really break up the team. I mean, you got a guy in Embiid. That's great. He's an MVP when he's healthy, but he's a half a season player.
Yeah.
And then you got to worry about, will he last during a playoff series? Yeah. You're going to give what, a max contract at the end of this thing?
I mean, Maxi's, if they do give him a max contract, he certainly earned it from.
I get it, but where are you going direction-wise on this squad?
You're not. You got to have.
You're happy to be a 3 or 4 seed every year.
You can't do what Phoenix did. You're right, Sean. You can't do what Phoenix did and sell out on 3 players and use 80% of your. And again, I'm being hypothetical here, folks. So don't take me. I'm paraphrasing here. 80% of your payroll on 3 players and expect you're going to have a quality supporting.
And especially one of the guys who plays half a season.
Okay, Ninja, you made your point here, buddy. All right.
There's no value. At that point, Ninja, yes, there's no value. So you look at a team total, or you know what? How about you don't got to bet the game? Maybe you bet a player prop instead if you really want to jump in.
I'll tell you what. I'm kind of leaning towards Ninja being right about the Celtics. And if they're a favorite, which you'd have to think they'll be a favorite against Denver in the finals, I'll definitely be on Denver.
I'm taking Denver every game against them.
Yeah,
I don't like their coach. Celtics got a bad coach too. He's not.
Ninja took the money line on the Heat plus 800 in game 2, so it's house money. So Ninja,
don't think like that, Ninja. It's not house money. It's your money. You got that. Don't go piss that away.
Sean just told you. Okay, if you're going to say stuff like that, say it before the game starts, not after the game. You're not learning anything. Ninja.
No, I think he said that in the Midday Money Show. But I'm saying people think like that, like you're an AC, like, hey, look at that, I'm up money. No, it's not house money.
Well,
wait for yourself.
Let me correct you, Sean. This isn't Midday Money. This is, you're talking to the Winner's Circle audience right now. So.
Well, it's my fault you didn't come in and see yesterday. Sorry, Ross. Sorry, I wasn't here to bring Ninja over to you.
I did. Yeah, it's a make or break situation, Sean. Do you all prefer the half total or over the full game for the Pacers game?
Both.
Yeah.
I got a first quarter total over 56, Jonah.
Yeah. I
think the team total is my preferred bet.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about I don't know. I don't like where the line movement's gone on the total, how low it is. To me, it looks like a sucker play in the over tonight. And I usually when I see that and I like the way a style of play, like I've been bragging about Indiana and the style of play they play at, I'll stay away from the game.
If they score their usual points, which will get them into the 120-something range, are you telling me Milwaukee doesn't score 100, so it's a 20-point win?
Yeah. Big fan. Love the picks. Subscribe. Thanks, Alex. We appreciate you, man. Hey, just wanted to say I appreciate everyone here. Amazing picks in the premium. Is defiantly worth it, guys? Also,
definitely.
A question. It says defiantly, but that's what he meant. Also, I have a question. Would you take the Suns in the first half? If you did watch the show and Jesse's pick earlier, he does have him at -2 in the first quarter, and Jesse cited, and I agree with him, that there's not a lot of value taking the Suns in the first half when the first half line is basically the same as the point spread for the game. So, but guys, you want to comment on that further, Sean?
Again, I like the Suns to go over their team total. It's up to 106.5 now. It was 105.5 earlier. I think it's 106.5 now. I just saw. I like them to score. They're home. They got to come out. I'd rather go team total than the first half. Like I said, it's the same as the game basically. What's the difference between 3.5 and 4?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, if it was where it should be,
like a 2 or
game
something.
With a 4, yeah, it should be around 2, maybe 2.5 max. And if that's where it was, I would have gone first half rather than first quarter. I went first quarter because it's just there's better value at -2 to me than laying 3.5 for the first
Again,
time.
you know, like I looked at yesterday's games where there was a couple series that had the 2-0, and why I leaned toward Orlando as one of my picks in the first half in the game was, yes, that was a similar number, but it was a low number to cover. When you start getting into the 4.5s and the 5s, and you have a similar number in the first half point spread, that's where I shy away. That's just me, my personal take. Only 90s, baby. Think Bron is the GOAT.
Like a duck.
LeBron.
Definitely not the GOAT. How about his son going to Duquesne? What is that about?
Playing time?
Playing time. I mean, the guy in November, he said his son could start on his Lakers team. Now he's not going to get. Now he's not even going to get drafted.
Well, that shows you that was an absurd comment because
of course it was an absurd comment.
Look at his playing time at USC. I mean,
you live in LA. Why not go to Cal Irvine, Long Beach, Pepperdine? There's not a school closer to go to. A Mountain West team, UNLV. You go to Duquesne.
First of all, he's going to be a starter. Second of all, he's going to play 30+ minutes.
He wouldn't have been a starter on Cal Irvine. Northridge, San Diego Toreros?
It was Duquesne is in the Atlantic 10, Cal Irvine's in the Big West, which is not as good a conference if you want to just use that comparison. Duquesne is coming off an NCAA tournament year in which they pulled an upset in the first round. Duquesne's got an excellent coach.
If he's trying to make a name for himself, why not go to a smaller school and be the big fish in a little pond? As opposed to going to 8-10 and being on a team that might be in third place and somebody on VCU runs you out of the building.
Because he'll increase his profile because in his mind and in his father's mind, he's going to be playing more. When the minutes go up, he's going to be playing against Atlantic 10 competition. Now, the Atlantic 10 is very good, okay? But it's not the Pac-12 from top to bottom that he faced this year. So, I mean, it's going to increase his profile in terms of minutes played, points. That's my opinion, Sean. I'm not saying.
Sounds like a potential nightmare for the coach, though. I mean, you imagine bringing in LeBron James's son. You're obviously making some guarantees that he's going to start. He's going to get playing time.
Well, yeah.
If he's not productive, it's not like you can just send him to the bench, right? That's already written in stone. He's going to get the minutes whether he deserves them or not.
No, in the coach's defense, I mean, obviously the kid was highly touted coming out of high school. He's not a bum. He didn't fit the USC system. Wasn't playing a lot. Also, think about this, guys. You know, we live in an era of marketing and NIL deals and such. How big of a boost is it for the Duquesne program to land a brand name like LeBron James' kid? How big of a boost will it be to your recruiting? You could play with LeBron James' son. Okay, so there's different layers to look at that, in my opinion. Not just pure how good could he be? Why doesn't he go to a bigger university? I gave my reasons. I don't know if I'm correct on all of them or any of them, but that's just my opinion. If you want to learn from the best, listen and stay and listen to the end. Thank you, Ninja. We appreciate that, man. What else we got? Pound it. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Good weekend. Same goes to you from all of us, Pound. Appreciate you chiming in, man. You're refreshing. Your takes are extremely good. And I really appreciate you following us on the show. Jesse, don't mess with the bad lieutenant. Explain to him what you mean by that, Jesse.
The guys that are making you angry in the comment section, they should learn to not mess with the bad lieutenant.
It's Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. Well, I guess for people that didn't see it on Twitter, there's a picture with Ross's face next to Harvey Keitel, bad lieutenant, and there looks like a dead ringer for Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, it's this guy watching his character in that movie too. Other than driving around snorting cocaine at every red light. Ken Dworsnik. Hey guys, thanks for the insight. What about a series bet on the groin punching Sixers? I'm thinking momentum in this series is changing. I would be real careful about.
It's just tough with Embiid.
Yeah, not only that, but I think me and Jesse discussed this at length. It's you can't overreact to what you saw the game before. Okay. If you look at the series history, teams down 2-0 and then returning home, you'll see that when it comes to straight up results, especially, they do very well. And quite frankly, it's a lot to do with urgency and desperation, because if you fall behind 3-0, virtually you have no chance, because no teams overcome a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs. So, guys, your thoughts?
I just don't trust Embiid to stay healthy, and I think Ken's right. It does look like the momentum has shifted. Doesn't mean it can't shift again.
Yeah. And the Knicks are, look, you could poke holes in the Knicks in a lot of ways, but that's a gritty bunch, okay? Yes. And that's a very resilient team, and you can't underestimate that. And that's a team that plays very good defense that may not have shown up yesterday in that regard. But I know this sounds absurd. I think the Knicks play better as a team and are more effective as a team without Julius Randle in the lineup. And I don't wish anything bad on Julius Randle, nor am I criticizing him as a player. But the Knicks ball movement and how they share the ball and the balance in players stepping up has seemed to increase across the board since he went down, because the ball doesn't get stuck on offense. Where they had a tendency with Julius Randle, he got the ball and he held on to the ball. He either was going to shoot, not give it up, or pass to somebody because there was 4 seconds left in the shot clock and he had nothing. And then it puts the person he passes it to in a very tough position. So that's just my take. Any opinion tomorrow, NBA? Quick rundown.
He's trying to turn this into midday money.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Embiid needs to move on from Philly. Yeah, well, he's going to have the same – look, if you can't stay healthy in Philly, you're going to have the same – I don't know why you would stay healthy anywhere else.
No, but I guess you're saying from a Philly standpoint, if you can get out of the contract and get something for him.
Yeah. And he will bring back a nice return. There's no two ways about it.
But the Lakers are looking to add talent. Lakers are going to put together one last hurrah next year to make a run.
The coach for Duquesne was LeBron's teammate in high school.
Oh, yeah. I heard that. Yep.
Okay.
That's starting to make a lot more sense.
All right. What do you think about thank you for that comment, Ken. That was very insightful. I mean that sincerely. The truth
tomorrow.
What do you think about the Pels +1 tomorrow? That line jumped out at me.
They played like crap last game.
Listen, if the Pels were going to make an impact in a series, they certainly didn't start out very well. I mean, bottom line is they lose by 2 in game 1, and then they get lambasted in game 2. And the Pels,
I had them here.
If you look at I went against them in game 2 actually, and I had them in game 1, so I've been on the right side of going with them or against them. But having said that, Sean, it bothers me when you look at their home and away splits, and now that's a whole different scenario going down 2-0 and returning home with a team that's barely above 500 at home this season. You know what I mean? And coming off a decisive loss. What's your thoughts there?
Well, I think, when the season was wrapping up, we're talking about the East and West, and I said every team in the West could possibly win the championship with the exception of the Kings, and I said the Pelicans. Those are my 2 weak squads out here, right? And again, you're 22-20 at home. You want to take them because just the theory of you're going to bounce back at home. I don't know. I mean, the Thunder young, finding ways to win. I get it. Tough game 1. It looks easy to say you got to take New Orleans, but I've
playing without Williamson. I know you guys are going to say.
I get it. I understand it. It looks on the flip side, it looks easy to take the Thunder, but I think it's a 1 because people are going to run to the Pelicans based on you're down 0-2, you have to win, you got to come back out strong. I think
this version of the New Orleans team only played without Williamson 13 times during the regular season. I think we get too caught up with the past couple seasons where he's missed the majority of it. Okay. So don't kid yourself with the record they have and how good they were on the road. they're missing his presence right now because they have
Yep.
nobody like him that could.
And Ingram's still banged up. He's,
Yeah.
he
Exactly.
looks a little slow.
And McCollum hasn't been, he had a nice game one, I think, but again, he's had a history, Jesse, right? McCollum of not choking, but not playing up to his normal standards in the playoffs that he shows in the regular season. Always got my pen and paper out when you guys are on, learning something new every day. Appreciate you. Stop Geoengineering, regular participant here on the show. And when I see you're a man after our own heart when you make a comment like that, we appreciate you, man. NS, first time, Sean, or does he?
I've never seen an NS before.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well,
but he's got a player pop parlay yesterday. Come on.
Yes, sir. Jack and LeBron, boom. Yeah, I mean, LeBron, I know that his points plus assist prop was 35, and he fell right on 35. Do we have another gem? I'm not a prop guy. You may want to lean on Jesse's opinion on this because out of all three of us, he's more in tune with props than me and Sean are. And I don't think I'm speaking on a turn, right, Sean, when I say
NBA,
that?
NBA, no, thank you.
Okay. So, Jesse,
I can give out a prop for Game 4, Lakers Nuggets. I'm looking at Aaron Gordon. Obviously, went off, scored 29 points, 15 rebounds in Game 3. I will tell you, last year in the closeout game in Game 4, because this is kind of like we're watching the same movie over again, right? It's all like, it's uncanny how similar this series is to last year's series, even with the come from behind wins, the close games. Last year in Game 4, Gordon scored 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Gordon is a guy that averaged 31 and a half minutes per game during the regular season. He's averaging 37 minutes per game in the playoffs. His points, rebound, assist total is 26 and a half. He averaged 24 in the regular season. He's playing 5.5 more minutes per game. He's coming off of a big performance, and he has a history of performing well against the Lakers. So I like Gordon over 26 and a half points, rebounds, and assists.
There you go. An added bonus from Mr. Jesse Schule. All right, we're winding down here, folks, so we'll try to get to as many of your questions and comments as possible, but we got about another 5 minutes. And I always know when it's about time that we need to end the show because Jesse's hat starts going up his brow. That means he's getting tired. It's 4 a.m. in Thailand. And okay. Hey, Ross, my opinion, you nailed it on Bronny and the multiple layers. Enjoying the great show, guys. Like, button smash. Thank you.
Thanks,
we appreciate you, Dexter, very much, man. Mar, hey, Mar.
Hey, Mar, where you been, Mar?
Yeah. Hey, guys, long time no talk. Who do you guys think didn't improve yesterday in the draft? I think the Packers and Bills didn't help themselves. I definitely agree on the Bills. I got no idea what the thinking is there. And I've been a big fan of Brandon.
I saw something, Ross, yesterday. Somebody said the last time the Bills traded with Kansas City took Mahomes.
Yeah, well, it wasn't with that general manager, though. Yeah, they traded up. They traded the number 10 pick to move down to 28 and get a couple extra draft choices. And Kansas City chose Mahomes, and we got Sammy Watkins at number 28.
That's good. We got EJ Emmanuel at quarterback. We don't need another QB.
Yeah, and then the bottom line is that wasn't with Brandon Beane, and he's, I've been a big fan of Brandon Beane since he took over as general manager. I did I did listen to his press conference after the first round was completed yesterday, and he alluded to the fact that when it got to number 28, he was trying to get another third round pick, which they didn't have, an additional second round pick, and he didn't feel at that point that there was any players on the board that remained that they graded as a number 1 draft choice. So there you have it. But I don't
listen. They're definitely taking a wide receiver here to start the second round, right?
Well, I'd be shocked if that's not the case. I would. I think they're going to take the kid from Texas, or they're going to take the kid McConkey from Georgia. Yeah. My point being, though, is it bothers me that they gave that pick up to Kansas City at number 28, and look who they took. that Worthy kid from Texas, who's the second coming of Tyreek Hill. Runs what, a 4.22 something sick in the 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't think Atlanta helped himself. How do you sign?
Listen, I get, and it's not a knock on Penix, right? It's not that. It's just like that's the team that. Why are you taking quarterback when you just gave a guy $100 million guaranteed, $180 million? Yeah, but 100's guaranteed. The other 80 is just
guaranteed, right? 4-year contract. And
and he's the oldest guy in the draft, so he's gonna be what, 26 by the time.
And then some guy tried to reason and say, "Well, that was smart because drafting him in the first round gives him a 5th-year option on his contract."
Yes.
So in other words, what you're saying is you're going to sit him on the bench for 4 years, or come on.
Not only that, the GM said, "Oh well, it's good."
The number 8 overall pick, Sean. I'm not saying again. I agree.
You're
with
a win now team. All you hear about, and I said this. I'm all over Falcon win total under. Everybody's all ready to unload on. Give me the Bucks again to win the division. You're a win now, and you draft a guy who's going to sit for a couple of years, unless your $100 million guaranteed quarterback at 37 blows out his Achilles at end. Then we're going to throw a rookie into the Wolves. How'd that work out with Desmond Ridder? Because he was supposed to be your quarterback last year, right? Here's our guy. We're taking Bijan Robinson because we already got a quarterback.
Yeah,
terrible. And again, we like Penix. I had Penix in his last game, the championship game or whatever. Come on, it's just a bad team to go to. You couldn't trade down. Minnesota traded up. Oakland needed a quarterback. Denver wanted a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback. You couldn't. You're a win now. Trade down, get an extra first rounder, get a second rounder, you're a win now.
I think that the quarterbacks were overdrafted, a few of them. Bo Nix being another one. I was a big Bo Nix fan this past year, but drafting him 11th overall, come on, man. That's a stretch and a half.
Anything, it's what a team's going to want to pay for somebody. Somebody's
Sean Payton, for whatever reason, is in love with this kid. And I think he sees another Drew Brees on the horizon with a small stature quarterback with an average arm at best, and he can make him work in his system. So we'll see. You know what I mean? You never know. We already got to that. Tito, if you did not see the beginning of the show when we gave out our free picks, I went under 213.5 on the Mavericks and the Clippers. So I hope that answers your question. And I really like
Arizona's picks, Arizona's draft.
Yes.
Arizona.
Yes, I do as well. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. and then the defensive lineman they got with their other first-round pick. I agree with you, Mar. Stop Gio Russ. Any opinions on Arnold Rothstein, first person to rig a major sports event? You know what? Stop Gio. I like you a lot, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. Perturb you.
Ross does not like conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So, in any event,
first,
I got no idea what that means. All right, folks, we got to wind down here.
I like the last.
Appreciate each and every one of you chiming in with your comments and questions on today's show. And we'll be back on Monday. I'll be with Chip Chirimbus and Doug Upstone at that time, and all NBA playoffs next week again. And Jesse and Sean will be back with us next Tuesday, Wednesday, and for our live show next Friday as well. Thursday with Doug and Chip again. So look forward to that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do so. And also, Jesse, there's a like button right underneath there.
Smash that like button.
Smash
no
that
roosters in Thailand. Jesse wakes up the whole neighborhood.
Smash that like button, folks. You got our free picks for today. Don't forget to visit us at gamblersworld.net. You can get all of our NBA playoff picks right through the NBA Finals for $195. Can't make it any easier than that. We told you how we're doing in the NBA playoffs real well. So, again, small price to ask to make a big profit at gamblersworld.net. Until the next time, for Jesse Schule, Mr. Sean Higgs, and yours truly, Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.